Oh wow, you're only streaming to your Twitch, not mine. That's very, very mean.
I'm not streaming to. Okay, I apologize. I wasn't sure.
Oh.
Do you want
And
me
you're
to
streaming to
stream?
your YouTube.
Yes, I'm streaming
Wow.
to all of the places. We should be live now. Let's give it a
Okay.
second
Cool.
for this thing to catch
Yeah.
up.
I mean, it's been a while since I've had to click this button, so let me see how this works. Even
Yeah,
my
how
camera is slightly skew, I see now, but
is it? Is
it
it
doesn't look
okay?
too bad. No, it doesn't look too bad. It's all good.
The ever required tweet.
Yeah, we are doing all the things. For those that are joining us now already, this is us figuring out again how streaming works. We haven't done it for, sure, I won't say I haven't streamed since I think November properly.
November,
'Cause
yeah.
I don't include the YouTube streams. Oh, not the YouTube, the reinvent streams.
Yes, so we have been away. The official Bean streaming or Cobus and Darko streaming has been not active since November,
Yeah,
and there's a good reason for that. There's a thing
yeah,
called AWS reinvent that happened, and that kind of takes the soul out from us, as we have to do a lot of
yeah.
things during that. Hello, RC Cop One, welcome to the stream. Excellent. So, for anybody joining us, welcome to the first 2021 edition of Bean Streaming with my good buddy Kubus and myself. For anybody new joining here, let us introduce ourselves. We're two bald, bearded guys who look alike and people confuse us. But,
Frequent.
Kubus, yeah, tell us who you are.
Cool. So I am Krobus. I am on the online developer relations team at AWS, and I am based all the way in Cape Town. So I am enjoying summer weather at the moment, unlike most of the people on. Actually, there's only one other person in the southern hemisphere on my team. So having fun. And my background before joining AWS was in building cloud systems. So I was actually a customer for 8 years, mostly on the what people call DevOps at the moment, or DevOps engineering, and automating people, helping them onboard to AWS, and generally solving their workflows and thinking about how to build systems that are cloud native, not just let's throw the code at a cloud server and see what happens.
Yeah. Well, yeah. And like Cobus, I'm also a developer advocate, although in a specific region. I cover Central and Eastern Europe and Russia CIS. So I get to scream at the camera at these times right now, or you get to see me on conferences trying to talk loud to people while trying to teach you at the same time. I also have a background in IT administration. I was your lowly sysadmin for a long, long time. And yeah, now I get to stream at people via our camera. Hey, Jer25. Here's a question for all of you.
Hat 25.
Gert25. Oh, okay.
Yes.
Yeah. It's like the Dutch or South Afrikaans, I guess.
Yes. Yeah.
So a question for all of you: is the audio good from our side? Because we have not tested the audio. We are that much prepared. Let us know
Yes.
if the audio between us is relatively okay, or is it in line, so nobody's louder or quieter. Perfect.
And also, just to clarify for those who are feeling left out, this is not Guinness. It's just a Guinness glass, unfortunately. It is boring, caffeine-free and sugar-free tab, while we can still get it.
And you are not drinking beer at 1 p.m. on a Wednesday.
No. Although the weather is good for it. It is 27 degrees outside, Celsius.
27 Celsius, Jesus. Yeah, I'm based in Berlin, and last week, we had weather at around minus 15 Celsius. So I was very excited about that. I like the cold. Okay, so what are we gonna talk about today? Today's stream is, again, as the inaugural stream of 2021. We are gonna try to it's not too late to say Happy New Year, Ganesh. Happy New Year.
Just quickly to break your flow, it's now in that awkward period which starts at like the last week of January till like mid-Feb, when you haven't seen someone for the whole year yet. Do you? Don't you say it? It's I don't know.
You really don't know what you should do. But yes, for us, we haven't seen all of you, and we have folks here that we from all over, and welcome back, and we like to see you back on chat. And hey, we do this because you join. this year was different. Again, we started a bit late due to reInvent happening. There was a lot of things happening during January, so we were trying to clear it out. And beginning of February kind of slows down, so we finally have more time to come and scream at the cameras live on stream. So today we're going to talk about what's happened, what cool things have we done over the past couple of months. We're going to talk about reInvent a bit because, as the first stream of this year, it's very important to mention reInvent and what has happened reInvent, what cool things we think we've seen at reInvent. And also we're going to talk about the future plans for BeanStreaming or our streams right now. So how are they going to look like in 2021? Because we want you back. We want to do this more. So before we start, Kobus, what's a cool thing that you did in the last month or so?
Well, I'll tell you in the last 24 hours, I managed to figure out how to authenticate against one of our internal APIs, which was super frustrating because I could have been done, instead of spending, I think, 2 days on it, I could have been done in 1 hour. Basically, the challenge is I'm building an internal system that works with some things, and I built a prototype end of last year using Python. Now, authentication part, we do a call and we get a cookie back, and then we use that cookie to interact with the API. Simple, straightforward enough. Python, I think it's 2 lines of code. You create a Mozilla cookie jar object, then you say, with that cookie file, then you say load the cookies, and then with your request, you go use the cookies, as in literally cookies equals that.
Yeah.
Done. No problem. So I decided, hey, listen, I'm really terrible at Python because I've never used it properly. So my code became a mess. I'm like, okay, let me use a language that I'm a little bit more familiar with. So I built it or rebuilt it in C#. Just because I want to play with .NET Core and I've got a decent amount of C# experience. So off we go. We build it. We build the cookie stuff. And the first stumbling block was there's no, generate cookies from text file. That doesn't seem to exist in .NET for some reason, or I just can't find the right call for it. In any case, no problem. There's great documentation on how to build a cookie. So off I go, pass the text file, grab the fields of the cookie, learn about what each of those fields mean. Hint, documentation sometimes a little bit spotty on some of them, but I managed to find 3 different things when put together. It explains what the fields are. And then I start running it, and it just gives me, depending on which permutation I did of my attempts, either just a 401 straight out, denied, access denied, or it was a 307 redirecting me to the internal authentication service. Long story short, it ends up being that the default .NET rider, which is the IDE I'm using, fix is .NET 5, which is cross-platform, what I understand, but it seems there's some kind of bug in, because as soon as I downgraded to .NET Core 3.1, boom, it just worked. So
okay, that's a day well spent, I guess.
Yes.
Yeah, well,
but yeah, I know a lot about cookies now.
Well, here's the thing. Like, I also spend some time. So one of the things that we like to do, in at least I like to do when I'm not doing AWS, and I spent the last month just doing AWS, was I'm like to do something besides that, right? I like to delve into development. I'm not a developer by any means, but I like to learn things. So I've decided, like, hey, let me do something, some blast from the past, and let me do some C programming. So I was playing around with C, and then, what do you do in C? Of course, you can build all of your command line utilities, all of those things, system calls. It's just great. But then I was like, okay, let me do something more. Let's create a game with C. It has the SDL library. Let's use SDL. It's great. You can do a lot of things with SDL. I made a character move on screen. Amazing. But then I ran into limitations of C. I'm like, okay, whoa, I think I need classes. I think I need objects. Okay.
Oh, I can
switch to C++ then. So now I spent some time doing some C++ programming over the last couple of weeks, I would say. And yeah.
But I mean, I can actually go play with, I think it's Unity. Yes, so it's Unity. I don't even know what version it's on at the moment. I played with it in 2013, working on a game, actually. And it's surprisingly good, but also some horror stories from that, where inheritance, if someone doesn't quite fully understand it, can lead to some very weird things. Like, for example, I believe it was either a door, ultimately, like this thing was 7 deep. And I think it was a door inheriting from an enemy, or an enemy inheriting from a door at one point. Because literally, like, a mechanism for code sharing for some of the code that was written, it was like interesting.
Yeah, I heard that inheritance can be difficult, but I have not reached that part yet. So it's I'm literally doing it without an engine. I'm just doing SDL, and I'm trying to create my own something super simple. So
Mm.
it's gonna be fun. But and also there was a few other things that I played with, sort of non AWS related. But let me actually move to
Hmm. Ooh, have you got
I
toys and
got
props?
this. It's not a prop. Well, it's a
Oh,
prop.
that's on my list. That's on my list that I want to play
Yeah,
with.
it's the for anybody interested. This is the M5 Core, I think. M5 Core, I believe that's the how it's called. Yes, M5 Core
The
2.
Educate.
Yeah, it's the IoT Educate device. It's 35 euros in Europe, or the equivalent in wherever you live, and it's an ESP32 based device that you can actually use with a workshop, and it's great. It has
Mm.
all of the bells and whistles to kind of play around with on AWS. You have this QR code which you shouldn't scan. So there's this QR code here that I need to scan and use it, and it is pretty cool. I like it. I'm gonna play around with this thing on stream. So be on the lookout in the coming weeks for a specific stream just on this. There's a workshop you can follow. So if anybody's interested in like an IoT on AWS, it's a great way to start.
Mm.
On top of
Mm.
that, what? Oh, I thought you saw something. And I'm like, I was
Mm.
expecting something. On top of this, I was playing around with something again, not AWS related. It's this thing right here. And if you
Mm-hmm.
recall from our previous streams, this was actually running like a GIF of Cobus and myself. It was always flashing in the back.
Are you sure it's not a GIF?
Let's not start that. So it was playing a GIF of Cobus and myself on a Raspberry Pi. But right now, I spent a couple of days fixing the monitor because I had problems with it, and also,
Ooh, the Commodore.
it's my Commodore 64, and not just that. I've managed to do this. I've connected it to the internet. So right now, this old Commodore 64 here can actually connect to a BBS as it is doing right now.
Oh wow.
It's connecting to the a 2400 baud to
Oh
Antidote to
wow.
BBS. So it's not using a phone line, of course. It's actually using a
Mm.
Wi-Fi dongle. There's like a Wi-Fi dongle for the Commodore, which emulates a modem, whatnot. But yeah, so this was my thing, and I spent like a couple of days trying to fix it, set it up. I even actually was able to connect with this Commodore to my Linux PC and via Telnet,
Oh yes, I
and
saw.
and then just use Telnet to access the internet. Fun times. If you ever
Ah,
want to, if
links.
you, yeah, links. Yeah, if you ever want to look at cat memes using a Commodore 64, you can. So yeah, I love it. Find a way to
Oh
connect your
nice.
IT. Yeah.
Oh yeah. Mm.
There's a lot of stuff I would like to play with it, but yeah, limited amount of time. So yeah,
Yes.
Kubas.
Lots of yes.
I think we should talk about the big thing that has happened in the last couple of months. Huh? What
What
do
is
you
that?
think? Ah, yes. So for those of you who do not know or maybe have forgotten already, back in December and a bit of January,
Mhm.
we had our big old event called reInvent, and this time it was virtual. reInvent is the biggest database event out there, and it was for over 3 weeks, right?
Mm. Yeah. I can't
I think
remember the
three
dates, but
weeks.
yeah, it's
Yeah,
yeah. There were
it
three
was.
days in Jan as well with more content.
Yeah, there was a lot, and it was a lot of new releases, new features. We had customers speak, we had partners speak. So yeah, yeah, Max Payne. reInvent is normally in Las Vegas. So normally it's for 3 days
Mm.
or 4 days, no, 5 days in Las Vegas.
4 days. I want
4 days.
to. I want to say the Fridays is the Friday. It starts on the Monday and ends on the Thursday, I believe. Because I know the first year I went, I only scheduled my flight
Yeah,
back on the Saturday, and it was so boring because everybody had left. I was
yeah,
like, hey.
yeah. It's usually in Las Vegas, and
Mm.
it is pretty expensive. It's like $1,000+ for a ticket.
Mm.
So it's not the cheapest thing in the world to go. And this was the benefit of having it being available to everybody online. So that's pretty cool. And one of the things
Oh
that
yeah.
we would like to hear from you here, especially folks who have watched the streams,
Mm.
let us know how it was. We would like to really get your feedback on how did you find reInvent. Did you like the experience? Did you like the streaming content? Did you like the content in general? We're always here to listen to that feedback you give us, and we'll get it to the people out there. So please let us know.
And just quickly, Max Payne Live, hello. Sorry, didn't get a cap to say hi. And also, long trip from Oz.
Yeah.
So I share your pain. My fastest way to get to Vegas is a 22-hour flight, where it's because I have to fly up to Europe somewhere and then from Europe up across. So yeah, I fully understand that pain of doing that.
Wow, 22 hours.
Yeah.
Yeah, for me it's like 12 or 14, but it's still by no means the greatest thing out there.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
So a couple of
No, but
pros
Ganesh.
Ganesh, yeah.
Yeah, no. But I want to argue with Ganesh here. It's like, didn't you do the proper reInvent experience by putting a treadmill in front of your PC and then walking for 10 minutes before you could go to the PC? That's how you reInvent when it's online.
Yes, exactly. You have to go walk on a treadmill at home, or just make a couple of circles around the block, or have some bad food and.
Although I didn't have bad food at when I was there.
Okay,
Actually,
I mean, I'm joking. That's an embellishment. It's not bad food. It's okay food. But compared to what else you can eat in Vegas, yeah. And this is a good point from Ganesh. Unlike when you go to reInvent for reInvent, where you spend 4 days to actually watch your presentations and interact with people, network. This virtual one was basically just a side thing. You go, you watch reInvent while you work, and that's a problem. So catching up with things was a thing. But the great thing about all of this, it's now available online. So if you wish to view the streams and the recordings from reInvent, it's now available on YouTube, and you can just check it out.
Yeah.
And there's no hallway track. Unfortunately, that's just
I must say that was one of the big things with reInvent, is like the ability to connect with the people, and also even literally like people locally from South Africa that I would see at meetups and things. It's different if you know you're in the same city for 4 days or 5 days, and you can say, listen, well, let's go do that session together. Then when you walk through the next one, you have constant conversations versus like 1 or 2 short conversations a month. It's like, it's definitely a big one.
Yep. Absolutely. I miss that. and mind you, we said this before, but Kobus and I worked together in a team, but I've seen him twice in my life, right? And reInvent is a great opportunity for us to also mingle. So hey, wasted opportunity for this year. But here's hoping for 2021 to be better, and for reInvent to actually happen in person. So we can do something here. Hello, Elliot. Hi, Elliot. Welcome back to the stream. Hey.
Yes.
We have folks. Kobus, what camera are you using? You look very crisp.
Ooh, it's the same one as usual, which is a Canon EOS R. And at the moment, I have where's the lens size? It is what is it? 18 to 35 mm lens. Sorry. It's a bit bright behind the light to read. And just to clarify, no, I don't buy the lenses that's actually made for this camera because I can't afford them. They're the same price as the camera and more. So it's just a slightly different lens. It's not the fixed focal length one that I normally use. And the other big difference is that my light composition has changed a bit. You can see now behind me the lights are on the little bullhead and the new unicorn that I added. I'm still figuring out the height because at the moment my chair can't go any higher than this, and the wall behind me, the angle of the camera, all those fun things we're trying to set up the home office.
Yeah. So I think that camera is good, but the lenses are expensive. And just to address the question here from Kanir, you are not late. This is our first stream for this year, and it's a big thing for us. We were trying to squeeze in a stream as fast as we can, but it was just a very busy first month of 2021. But we're going to talk about a bit later on what's going to happen in this year. How are we going to approach 2021 with BeanStreaming? But before we continue, I would really like to talk about a few things from reInvent. Or actually,
Yes.
we're not going to do a recap or hey, this is what was released on reInvent, because you've seen it all, right? I think I would like to mention a couple of services and features that kind of were released and I like and I work with and I touched on. And Cobus as well, I guess. So we can share our own, and we would like to hear your own. If you have, what's your favorite release from reInvent this year? Let us know in chat, and also feel free to ask us questions. If you have questions about a specific release or a service or thing, let us know, and maybe we can answer. So, Cobus.
Max Payne, yeah, sure. Ask questions. Throw the question out. There's a bit of a delay between the question being posted and us seeing it here on the stream, but we'll catch it in the next gap.
Yes.
The question is there a way to get a Twitch stream into AWS? That is not as easy a question to answer. It's a bit of a longer. Sorry, that way. Oh, sorry. I thought you meant like I've got a Twitch stream and can you host me on AWS? Okay, but to run recognition, transcode text as speech, I believe so, because I know that Twitch has got a very rich API, so there are ways you can actually embed the stream, I believe, and then just pipe that into like another service. But that would be, I actually haven't looked at that.
So there's a way, as long as you can run recognition on top of a video file or a video stream. I'm not sure. Can recognition? Yeah, recognition can do real time. Yeah, recognition can run real time. If there's a way to get the stream now, look at the media services. There's elemental media services on AWS which can accept streams, although Twitch in itself does not provide like an RTMP endpoint for outgoing streams. You need to find a way to get this stream via the API somehow, and then into like an elemental stream and do something with it. Then, right? You can stream it to like an S3 bucket, or use Kinesis or something. That would be a way. The Twitch API doesn't expose it.
Yeah,
you can cheat it. you can capture the stream in real time and take that capture. So you can take your OBS setup, capture the stream, and put the output of the OBS setup to an RTMP endpoint and do something like that. There's a way to do it. Yeah, it's not native. It doesn't exist natively, unfortunately. But yeah. So Cobus, let me actually share. I think.
Ooh, you're gonna share a deck with us. Here we go. Hi, my name is Darko. I'm here to talk about a recap.
Yes, welcome to our recaps. I like to talk about. Go ahead.
Just quickly for those, just to put some context on why this is so funny is that so we do these recap sessions every year, and what it consists of is that up until this year we used to have a recap deck, which was 130 to 180 slides, depending on what you wanted to cover with people. So what we tend to do is there's this master deck that we have, and then we subdivide that into smaller chunks for the audiences that we are interacting with. Now, what it did mean is that you would spend between 2 and 3 hours going through feature after feature after feature with people, which is sometimes funny if you just want to get an overview of what happened and you didn't attend any sessions. But obviously, it's a lot of content to cover. And secondly, if you do that deck 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 times, it does become a little bit repetitive, because it's not like with our normal discussions and presentations where there's room to improvise as you go along, engage with the audience, see how they're reacting to it. This is literally let's go through all the information. There's a lot to cover, so you go through it quickly. But yeah, so
if you ever attended a recap, like an in-person recap, you will notice that it's a much longer endeavor. And I'm actually using that deck from a recap here. But I want to kind of mention a few things that I liked from recap. And now you may look at this slide and say, you like a new EC2 instance? That's so sad. But no, this is actually quite good. Now, EC2 C6GN. A mouthful, right? That just rolls off your tongue. But an EC2 C6GN instance is a continuation of our ARM-based instances. I love the fact that we use Graviton-based instances now. There's so much potential in using ARM-based instances. And you can see that from your typical consumer products like your new MacBooks and Mac Minis using their own silicon, to now having Graviton 2 based instances running on AWS, and they can, be much cheaper. Now, why is this great? It gives you much more network capability. The N instances here are basically giving you up to 100 gigabits of networking. So the more we expand into new expand these Graviton instances into new capabilities, the more the customers have the opportunity to use them. And what's funny about this slide talks about our instances, and there's an Intel logo at the bottom. But I'm sorry, Intel, we love you. Don't get me wrong, we love Intel, but yeah. So yeah, this is one of the things I like, and I've started actually using a Graviton 2 instance for like my own hotbox, my workstation, the cloud, and I just love it. I use it for everything. There are limitations, not all software works for an ARM architecture, but it gets there, especially if you can compile it. It should mostly be fine, right? Yes, that's a very good point. Tom Telecom, has this expanded even more? I think so. T4G, it's the burstable type of an EC2 instance, but this time it's an ARM based, and there's a free tier. Basically, you can use this instance until end of March 2021. But in my mind, I think there is there's been even a longer extension, or I may be T4 Micro free tier.
Yeah, so while you're quickly doing that, look up, just for those not familiar, when you look at the EC2 instance name, the C6GN, so the C is the family type for compute intensive, so it's high CPU frequency but lower RAM. I believe it's a 2-to-1 ratio between memory and CPU virtual cores. Yeah. And then the 6 is the generation, the higher number, the more recent it is. And then the numbers afterwards, the letters afterwards or no letters indicate additional capabilities. So in this case, the G is for Graviton. If it's A, it's for AMD. If it's got nothing, it's Intel CPU. And then you get lots like ND. I'm trying to think of all the other letters to actually know what the definitions are for. Because I want to mention one that I don't know. So the D is for NVE SSD storage on the device. So very fast IOPS if you need it. Yeah.
Great. And yes, this is actually correct. The T4G Micro is until the end of March 2021. So if you want to try this instance specifically, it's free to try until the end of March. And to answer Max Payne Live question, free tier in general is for the first 12 months for 750 instance hours. What's it called? 3 hours per month for a T2 Micro instance. But in this case,
or T3, depending on which region. So, some regions don't have T3 or T2s if they're newer.
Correct. So yeah, but there's more. I always would argue that give Graviton 2 a try, because you see a lot of examples of people switching from their own C5 or M5 instances to something like a C6N, or in this case C6GN, and they can run the same workload at same performance for 40% less money. So at the end of the day, it's always good that you save money on this.
Yeah, I think Honeycomb actually did a very good post on that. Honeycomb is an observability SaaS product that you can use to, look into your code and how it's performing.
Yeah, they did it, and Liz Fong, she did this great post on that how they saved it. So I'll try to find that link somewhere and share it with you all in the chat. Dan NBA, can you use Cloud9 on the G instances? Ooh, that's a really good point.
I have no idea.
I think there's no native way to do it right now. You cannot pick a T4 or an ARM instance.
Yeah, the drop down is pretty listed. Yeah.
Yeah. So the thing I would assume no, because the software would need to be compatible, and it might be, but it's just not tested fully for it to be available. But I would say expect it to be coming sometime soon, because at the end of the day, we want to run stuff on ARM as it makes a lot of sense. So
yeah, no, definitely. So what? So this is one of the things you're excited about. But if you have to pick only one, what was your favorite release from reInvent? And I want to see, because I know what my one is.
Okay, so it's weird, but this is my favorite one. This public container registry. I know it's pre-invent. It was like released 2 weeks before reInvent, but just the fact that the ECR is no longer directly connected just to your AWS account, and it's only accessible to your AWS account, you can actually have this public registry of container images in the world. So
Mm.
If you remember, if you know Docker Hub, this is it. With a caveat, there's no limitations. So
No.
there
Let's
are
clarify.
okay,
There are limits in terms of
yeah.
like number of authenticated versus unauthenticated
Hmm.
pools. So there are, but it's high limiters. I think
Yeah,
it's. Let me actually check. I have to
yeah.
bring that up. Give me a
The limits
second.
are pretty high. So yeah, if you have ran into issues where your images on Docker Hub are being throttled, or you are being throttled to get the images from Docker Hub, ECR public repository, well, gives you the ability to overcome those things by actually posting them here, and you will find a lot of the big images already available on the ECR public repository. So yeah,
Mm.
it is pretty cool. So this is definitely my favorite one. I liked because it's I think it's benefits for everybody out
Mm.
there, right? It's not like, oh,
Yeah.
I'm just a pure AWS user, I'm gonna just build my containers, or I'm gonna do things with Graviton too. But ECR public repository benefits anybody who wants to do something with the containers. Hey, you want to pull down your Nyancat container just to joke? You can put it on ECR public repo and have it there as well. So I
Yeah.
love
No,
it.
definitely. Yeah, it's the other thing is like you can also host the free tier is also very generous in the sense that you can host a lot of containers without having to pay for them. Um, which
Correct.
is obviously super useful because you don't want to put an image on the internet and have to keep paying
Yeah.
just for other people to download because that does get expensive after a while if it's something that's super popular.
Correct.
So
Correct. Correct.
okay,
Clovis, now
so
yours. Tell us about
yes,
what is yours, and I'll try to find the slide of that one.
it
Or,
starts with
or
an
you will.
M. Sorry, not M. P. I was confusing it with Monotron now, which is something else.
I know what it is. Wait me a second. Let me try
Get
to
it, get it,
find
get
it.
it.
It
I
sounds
have
like
not had a time. I haven't had a chance to play with it yet, but I really want to because this, like, having been in this situation, helping companies with this before, makes me super happy.
was that
And
right?
there we go.
Haha.
Yes.
Tell us about AWS
Basically,
Proton.
yes, basically a blueprinting mechanism for infrastructure as code. Except, let's explain the problem it solves first. Like things that I did before I joined AWS, I consulted with the companies and I helped them to onboard to AWS. Typically, that consists of spending time with them, figuring out their workflows, their CI/CD pipelines, what infrastructure is common, how do they do that. Then bringing in infrastructure as code tending to be Terraform back in the day. So now what you would do is you build out the Terraform template that you use in, let's say, Service A, and you go, you deploy it, you get it out there, then you move on to Service B. You figure out, oh, I need to make a bit of a change here because this one's just slightly different, or there's something else now that makes more sense. So you add it to the template, and our Service B is updated, but A isn't because guess what? There's no way to actually get that change into it. So I'd actually built a little script that did a git checkout of a repository that had the template framework, and then horrible bash things to upgrade the new framework, things like that, and then we'd roll it out. But as you can imagine, doing that across like 50 services becomes a little bit of a headache. So AWS Proton solves that for us because how it works is that you build your CloudFormation stacks and then you publish them and you can also version them. And then you say, well, service teams go use one of these templates, deploy your code with it. And then when you release new version, you've got a dashboard that shows you who's on what version. And then there are ways for you to say, okay, cool, well, let me go upgrade that other version that specific service is on as well. So it gives you a lot of control from that perspective. And the big part here, a big win here is for the software developers, it's self-service. So I can
Yeah.
go and say, listen, let me grab that. We've got, let's say, the Java, the Ruby, the whatever template for, or however you want to slice and dice it. It's like, I go pick that and I know that best practices are baked in. And if there's an upgrade needed, I can either set it to auto or have the infrastructure team deal with it or deal with it myself. And it's just a lot less headache.
And like people would come here and say, I got questions on this, like, oh, what is this different from Service Catalog? Yes, it has its similar things. Like Service Catalog gives you the ability to provide people with CloudFormation or Terraform code to deploy specific things out there in a catalog like way. But this is beyond that. Yes, it gives your application teams the ability to run things from a catalog, but it also gives you the ability to control those things. Because in Service Catalog, if you go in and launch a template, that's it. The template has been launched, it's on version whatever, and you as a admin, as an IT operations person, have no control over what is over that thing. You have no way to update it. You have no way, unless you're gonna reach out to the application team and say, "Hey guys, Could you please update the version of your stack? With Proton, you go one step above and you have full visibility of what people have launched and the ability to update the stacks to the latest versions. So it is.
Oh yeah. Sorry, I'm just frantically searching for something here before I say something. I'm not sure if I should, although I can see it. Give me 2 seconds. I think I found.
Okay. Cobus is searching for secret information that he cannot share with you.
Yes. I can see it on 2 public things, but I can't remember if this is public or not, if that's just someone leaking something, so I don't want to comment on it. But yeah, it's
Yeah. So, Pradeepa, Proton looks interesting. We're using serverless framework. What do you think it can solve better than that? Now, the serverless framework per se is just an infrastructure as code framework that helps you deploy serverless applications. It's great. What Proton does, it takes your infrastructure as code patterns such as CloudFormation. Does it support anything beyond CloudFormation currently? Or is it just...
That's the part that I don't want to comment on, that I see something publicly
okay.
that makes me really happy. But like I said, it's... yeah.
You can get it from the picture. If it's public, if it's true, Cobus is happy and it starts with a T. If it's not, currently it supports CloudFormation officially. And if you have your CloudFormation templates or even your CDK templates, to say the least, Proton uses that code and gives you this framework to deploy it and give the ability to other teams. Let me ask you a question, Pradeepa. How do other teams use your serverless framework, right? Do you have a I love this joke from I'm sorry. How do your teams actually use your code that you build, right? How do they is there a way to disseminate updates to environments? This is what Proton does, right? So it's not your quite about your question. It's a comment. But yeah,
yeah,
we're
locking about that. Yeah, sorry. So just for those who are new to the stream, I'm a huge Terraform fan. I used it for I think 5 years before joining AWS. No. I started using it version 0.5 or 0.6. It's on 0.14 at the moment. So yeah, so that's why we're giggling.
So yeah, maybe if it's true, we don't know. We cannot comment anything officially. Is that thing is going to come in? So yeah, but that should be good.
Oh, hold on a second. I want to take this question from Max Payne Live because I actually did a talk at one of the Hashi confs about this. Hashi conf. Yes, there's a YouTube video on this.
Question from Max Payne Live is: how do you manage prod versus staging variables for Terraform? And Cobus is going to share with us the ever-expanding knowledge on that.
Yeah, let me just quickly pop it in here. Where's my one? Multi-account with Terraform. There we go. Cool. Let me pop it in here. So that's something I can talk about for a very long time. So what you can see in that is that's a short video just on how I approach account AWS setups with Terraform specifically, how I thought about splitting and all of that. And also, if you look in that video, if you click through to the YouTube page, there should be a link to a GitHub repository with a sample of the code as well as the make file that I have in there. But basically, how it boils down is that I know some people advise you to use a folder per environment like dev, staging, and production. The problem with that is it means copy pasting things between them, and that just leads to infrastructure drift. So what I do is there's a single folder with the infrastructure that you do, also multiple folders depending on the services and the things you built, and then you've got variable files, and you inject the variable file, you load it as part of the execution command when you run your Terraform plan and apply. The difference being is wrapping it in a make file. I prefix it with a environment variable like env equals dev, and then it knows to select the dev.tf variables file along with switching the workspace into the actual dev workspace. And that's how I do it, and then a couple of other interesting things there under the hood. But everything should be in that video and the repo.
And do you ship all of your variables with the repository for all environments?
Yes,
Okay.
even secrets.
Even secrets. Ooh, what?
Yes, but
Oh, by
yeah.
using
So,
Vault?
no, using parameter store. So what you can
Okay.
do is you can set up when you're working with KMS, you can send it
Okay.
a string and say, please encrypt this string for me. And then how I normally set it up is that there were two KMS keys. The one is the config or secret value encryption key.
Right.
So developers would have access to the encrypt function with that KMS key, but not the decrypt function. So
Okay.
me as a developer, I can take any string and I can go and encrypt it. I can add it to a Terraform repository and then commit it. But I can't decrypt it because I don't have the rights to decrypt it ever.
Right.
Then what would happen is that in Terraform, you would set that up as a KMS source string. Terraform in the CI server has got the decrypting capabilities. It decrypts that and then uses a second KMS key, which developers don't have access to, that re-encrypts it to a different value to store it in parameter store that the services then have access to actually decrypt it again. And that way you can actually version control your secrets as well. Now, this all relies on the fact that you limit access to that KMS key, because without that KMS key, you can't decrypt the string.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Okay. Fair point. Yeah. That's good. Yeah.
Yeah.
There's a couple of other things. Yeah, Max Payne is using TerraGrunt. I've not tried TerraGrunt. I've heard of it a bunch of times, but never have played around with it. So
I also looked at it at one point. I'm trying to remember now what the main differences are, but there were reasons for me not wanting to use it. But they might have been specific. Initial secrets, depending what the secret is quickly, because I mean, certain services you have to set up with a thing. If it's something like an RDS instance, there are ways you can randomize that with Terraform as well to actually set that password and then deal with it.
right. Okay. Okay. Interesting. Okay. I guess we'll wrap up our reinvent things because we mentioned just a couple of things that are very important to us, that we found super useful. Is there anything else, Cobus, you would like to mention?
Yes.
What?
I need a big A on my forehead now for anywhere. EKS anywhere, ECS anywhere,
Wait.
running all the container things anywhere and everywhere. Which finally means we can get to that point where I can take those broken deep braces that I have and turn them into an ECS cluster foam.
Wait, I have it somewhere. It's somewhere here.
Yeah.
One of the slides. EKS
Yeah.
anywhere. Ha! There we go.
Yeah. Yes.
Tell us, Scobus.
That for me will be a awesome one. It's basically the ability to run the ECS agent literally anywhere. The same with EKS, and it means that now what you can do is you can actually have your clusters running on-prem hardware or hybrid approaches or wherever you want to run it, or like I said in my case, broken deep braces. So I'm very keen to take this one first one. You can, Darko. Your Pi cluster. But Darko, tell us, what have you done with your Pi cluster other than assemble it and brag about it?
I have actually managed to use it to collect all the dust in my room.
That is always useful.
Yes.
That is the problem with too many toys, and the soldering, I believe, took some of your attention away.
Soldering took, yeah. I was playing around with my soldering iron. I was fixing this monitor, and I didn't die. You're welcome. By the way, if you ever try to attempt to fix a CRT screen, be very, very, very careful. There's 25 kilovolts of direct current in the vacuum tube. So be careful.
Yeah. Yes. And Darko, can you share the pro soldering tip that I shared with you? Because I think more people need to know it.
Cobus enlightened me about something about soldering that I didn't know. When you're soldering, if it smells like chicken, you're holding it wrong. And you wouldn't imagine
roast chicken specifically.
Yeah, how many times that thing came to my mind. When I was soldering, I'm like, don't hold it like chicken. It's gonna smell like chicken. So yeah. So many toys, so many things happening around. But yes, ECS Anywhere or EKS Anywhere also gives us the ability to create our ECS/EKS clusters on-prem, on your own devices, whatever that device may be, as long as it supports the agent. So that is pretty cool. And I guess we can have some fun with this throughout the year. Speaking of having fun throughout the year.
Yes.
Let's talk about the future of the two balded bearded guys here who like to scream at the camera and you, our lovely audience. What's going to happen with this year? What are the plans for 2021? We
I'm
actually
gonna stay home most of the time, I think. Who
staying at
knows?
home most likely. At least not for the foreseeable future. We're not going to go anywhere. At least not in Germany. I'm not sure about. There are some lucky countries out there which are, I wouldn't say lucky, but smart countries out there which are doing the right thing, and are properly dealing with the COVID situation. So we are gonna keep on doing our streams. So let's
Yeah.
get that out of the way. We're gonna keep doing our streams. We're gonna limit a stream to one stream per week. The exact time slot we still don't know. It's most likely gonna be a Wednesday at the same time we did it usually, and the time was 11 a.m. CET. We find that to be very, very good for everybody, unless somebody massively disagrees that that's not the good time. But we are still trying to hash out what would be the best time to stream this. So it's going to happen.
Yeah.
It's going to be in this format. Not a lot of things are going to change. We're most likely going to rebrand instead of being BeanStreaming, because BeanStreaming, it's a coffee thing. We drink coffee. Kobus didn't drink coffee. I drank coffee.
It's a dad joke.
It's a dad
The
joke.
dad joke's old now.
It's an old joke. So we're trying to make a new dad joke, which is even worse. And we're gonna call ourselves Dev Beard Ops, because of course it's gonna be Dev Beard Ops. And a lot of people who come here know that we like the DevOps thing, and we like to talk about it. So Dev Beard Ops is something that we have named ourselves right now. And you can actually go to the site and there's just a GIF of us and it's horrible. I write the HTML in a notepad for that.
And you can see it because it's not indented.
Yeah. Yeah. So we were thinking like bald ops as well, but yeah. And also beard is a metaphorical thing. You don't have to have a beard to be in our Dev Beard Ops club. We tend to have beards, but a beard is something in your heart. So as long as you can grow a beard in your heart, metaphorically, you are part of the Dev Beard Ops club. So we have this website up, and we're gonna add stuff to it, and the format is gonna be very similar. We're gonna be doing tech chat. Yeah, again, you don't have to have a beard, Pradeepa. It's the inner beard that counts, right? And the beard here can be whatever you think. So beard ops, yeah. The way we're going to approach this is very similar. We're going to have a lot of our technical chit chats like this. We're going to be building stuff on AWS. We're going to be talking about technology. We're going to be people are going to read bear dops. Are they going to do it like that? I not thought this name through. I think Kobus went silent. Is that Kobus one, or is it
Sorry
me?
about that.
Okay, you're
Quick
back.
internet drop. It's me.
Okay. So, see, this is a good
So,
point. Yeah.
Dop,
Should I?
dops,
Should I?
dops.
Dops.
Well, in Afrikaans, a singular, having a like alcoholic drink is referred to as a dop. So you can refer to dops, because generally you add an S for plurals here. So you can say like it's
okay.
like Dev beer drinks.
Okay.
If we want to do that, yeah.
There we go. Hey, we make it work. Hey, if need be, we can make a new domain, dav-beard-ops, I guess. Can you put dashes in the name? Yes, you can. Yeah.
Oh, no. What you want to really do is, let me quickly put it here in the text, is like you have to really mess with people by doing a dev, like this, dev, beard, ops, like that. You want to do it like, hey.
Underscore. Oh God, no.
You should have actually had a capital there as well. Yeah.
Yeah. This is the way we should do it. Yeah. Okay. So it's great. It works. It's Dev Beard Ops, like the Dev Beard Ops, but it's also Dev Bear Ops as a time when we have a drink, because we want to also have once in a while a later time stream where we have a drink. And we chat about things that are potentially not related to AWS or the projects we'll be doing. So we can just talk in general about technology and all those things. So yeah, Dev Beard Sec, Get Life Ops, yes, and ML. You forgot ML.
No. You're doing this wrong. It's Dev Beard Mustache Goatee Ops.
Goatee Ops. Yes. So yeah, this is basically how it's gonna be called from now on. I mean, you can call us whatever you want. We don't care. Once a week, usually, I think it's going to be a Wednesday, 11 a.m. CET. We're going to keep on doing these things. But one of the things we would like to get from you is let us know topics you would like us to talk about. Let us know if there's a potential thing you would like us to discuss. Send us feedback of saying, hey guys, I love this service, or I think this feature could be better. Could you do X and Y and Z? Let us know. We can come and discuss those topics here with you. So we're here again. We're developer advocates, and we're here to be your developer advocates. Try to get your feedbacks on things, right?
And we actually have an email address even for that. Let me just pop on the screen quickly. I went to quickly search for it because I couldn't remember which one we called it. So let's pop it over here. Boom. There we go.
Yeah, streaming.
So you can drop us a mail there with anything that you want us to do. We're going to start actually using this mailing list a lot more for that. Yeah.
So expect the stream coming next week at the same time. So well, at 11 a.m. CET. I think that should be fine. So yeah. Do make sure to follow us. We will keep on doing this. It's gonna be a mix of episodes. I said it's gonna be some technical chit chat. It's gonna be some building. It's gonna be some just general chat. You know, we find that doing a specific stream on a just single specific topic might not be interesting to all. So we want to make sure that you get your interest here, and you know, at the end of the day, entertain you a bit. So yeah.
Yeah, and actually get some background music going as well. I really miss that because it's sometimes like it's weird not hearing music because I always have music on when I work.
Well, I have music on right now. I can hear my own music, but I know that there's no music in the stream here. And unfortunately, that's just the problem with the streaming platform. It does not allow for music. But that would be really, really, really cool. So,
yeah, Geo, DMB, obviously, we don't want to do anything that'll be DCMA related, given that this is on the official AWS stream as well. But there are ways you can actually get music that's specifically DMCA royalty free. Yeah, that you can. And also, it's been cleared to not trigger that. So now YouTube's got a library. I've been looking at Stream Beats. Yeah, there's Stream Beats as well. That's one that I've been looking at from some of the other things that I watched. So yeah.
Yeah, you actually I use the YouTube library and just works really good. So and yeah, let your friends who are interested in AWS let them know about the stream. Again, we're here ultimately to teach, entertain, and also answer your questions. So if you have people who are starting with AWS, people who want to do something specific on AWS, let them know. Come to the stream. We're happy to answer questions. If we don't know the answer immediately, we can potentially find the answer, or at least point you in the right direction. So that's what we are going to be doing here as well.
Kanner's question quickly,
super
just
important
for those.
Question.
Yeah, which is how do you listen to music and have a conversation around it? The short answer is that when you hear Darko going, ooh, ooh, ah, sexy eyes, you know that his favorite song is playing.
I actually use music which is very, they call it now lo-fi. Just something is playing in the background just so I can hear it, but it's not something I need to pay attention to. But that's not the important question, Kobas. The important question is,
of course
they will come here. I mean, do you even know us? Do you even know us?
Yes.
So yes, the horrible dad jokes will remain. And
they're not horrible. They're awesome.
Okay, horrible.
What do you mean horrible?
Dad jokes.
No, hold on, Darko. We have to have a conversation. What do you mean horrible jokes?
I'm not a dad, so I haven't grown the dad joke gene yet. I'm sorry.
Okay.
Yeah. Thank you, Pradeep, for joining in. We hope to see you sometime soon at our stream. We really do like that. Adrian, yes, I will be uploading. My last upload happened last year in November last time I recorded a video. But I am actually going to continue doing my live streaming once a week on my official Twitch channel, which is twitch.tv/rup12. You can find it somewhere under here. Yes. Yeah, somewhere there. I am going to be doing live streams there, but I'm also going to be working on actual videos. So coming up, I cannot say when. It just, it takes a while to do, but I'm definitely going to be doing it. I missed that. So yes. You need to resub. You get the Cobus emote. There's a Cobus emote on my Twitch channel. If you sub to my channel, you get like a Cobus emote. Don't sub for money, please. I would give that emote to everybody, but apparently you have to put it behind something. So If you have like Amazon Prime or something that's free, just do that. But otherwise, I would love to give you the emote, so you can use the Cobus emoji. The real J, Darko, how's the index? The index, I guess you're meaning about the Valve index, the VR headset. I love it. I've been playing with it for a while now. I bought it, and it's been spending a lot of my time. The problem is I played one day the game called Boneworks. It's great. It's a physics-based game. It's amazing. The problem is you have to walk in the game, and it's not like most good VR games are teleporting you, and that's fine. Your brain gets that perfectly. Your brain you get teleported. The brain is like, yeah, okay, that's happened. But if you walk in a game, and your character is walking when you press the button, but you're standing still, your brain is going, what is happening?
Yeah.
What is this? I played for like an hour. I got so sick. I was like on the cusp of puking. And it was just no, nobody. I need to be careful. So
no, but it's actually it's a evolutionary thing. It's the same when you're on a ship, when you aren't making the movement, but your eye sees that things are moving. It's your inner ear basically going like, what I'm seeing, it doesn't match with what my ear is telling me with regards to movement, and then your body thinks you've been poisoned, so that's why you throw up.
Yeah, and this is a thing you get used to, because if you take a person from 1,000 years ago and put them in a car and get them moving in a car, they'll freak out as well, right? Because they are not used to it. We're born, in a car, and the same.
Well,
thing
that and VR. The time travel,
and the time travel, yeah. But I am still trying to get my VR legs, as Kanir says. So I'm trying to practice just a bit at each time. So it gets better. It gets better, but yeah.
I would actually wonder what a VR would be like if you could play in one of those, I don't know what they're called, that, the circles where it's got multiple rings inside each other, and then you sit in a thing, you go around in all the directions, basically, gyroscope type thing.
There's a treadmill for VR, so that's something I would definitely try to do that. So yeah. With that being said, we're at the top of the hour. Thank you everybody for joining the stream. It's been very fun. We had a lot of folks here. Thank you so much for joining. I hope to see you next week at 11 a.m. Follow us on social media and check out the website. We're going to be posting the time there, and we're going to be posting stuff on social media, LinkedIn, Twitter, Twitch, whatever. Carrier pigeon. Do check us out there. We're going to be letting you know the topic for next time once we figure it out. And again, let's kick off 2021 with a great set of streams. Thank you for joining.
Lights.
And Christmas lights from Cobus. I have no Christmas lights. Okay. Thank you once again. And we will be seeing you next week.